Hello, fellow cinephiles, and welcome back to another episode of the Talk Film to Me podcast. I am your host, Nkatha. Let's talk film. So today we are going to be talking about Click, Click, Bang. Yep. Click, Click, Bang is a Kenyan crime and drama 3-part series which is on Netflix. Yeah, guys, it's on Netflix. So if you haven't watched it, this is something you can get access to. Just pause right there. Pause. Go back to Netflix. Watch it, then come back and listen to this review because I would love to hear your opinions about it. You can do this in the comment section, and you can actually send a voice message or a voice note, and we can all discuss about what we think about this film. So, onto the film. Click Click Bang was first released on the 15th of July 2022. It was shot in 2022 for sure. It was directed by Abel Mutua. No, let's start here. It was written by Abel Mutua, and it's an adaptation from his series Young and Stupid. So you can already tell it's part of Mkuru stories. This is a very good story. It's a very good film. And then it's directed by Abel Mutua and Phil Karanja of Feel It Productions, which is a production company that did this, and Michael Munyoki, aka Smalls. Now, if you don't know Smalls, I have seen him in a couple of projects, but the one that stood out for me was Single Kiasi. He was a husband of one of the 3 lady characters, and I think her name is Faith Kibathi. I'm not so sure. I don't remember her character's name. And also, in Single Kiasi, Michael Munyoki Smalls was paired with Red Brenda. I also still don't remember her character's name, but that duo was amazing on that film. That duo was amazing. Whoever did the casting for that one, good job. Like Red Brenda and Michael Munyoki paired together. It was that weird couple. You're like, yeah, like it looks like a man going through midlife crisis and a babe who's just trying to make some money, and it gave what it was supposed to give. But anyway, today we're not talking about Single Kiasi. We are talking about Click Click Bang. So let's move to the stars, rather the characters in this film. We have Basil Mungai, who plays the role of Kevo. Basil Mungai, I mean, if you've heard of Kina, you've seen Basil Mungai everywhere. He's part of Kina. Was such an amazing series, and I think most people stopped watching it after Sanaipe Tande left. I'm one of those people, but not because Sanaipe left. I think Becky Mwalimu still does a good job. She's a very good she delivers the role very well as well. I just haven't watched it, but not for that reason. Don't cancel me. So that's where that's where I have seen Basil Mungai a lot, but I'm sure he's been in other projects too. Then we have his counterpart, or rather let's call him his bestie in this, his partner, Kasisi. Kasisi is played by Isa Nyaboke. Isa, if you've watched, Maria was a hit back then. This is where I first saw Isa. My father used to love watching Maria. It would get to 7:30 and all of us had to be seated, and he's like, Eka Maria tuone. So that's where I first saw Isa, and he's also, I think he's in currently Shamba la Wanyama and other projects. So he's also like a very good actor. These are people who you know will definitely deliver when they're given a role. Then we have Jackie Vike, who plays the role of Mokeira. Mokeira is Kevo's sister in this film, and her acting, we'll get to that part. She delivered all that she was supposed to. Then we have Kadesa. Kadesa is played by Amina Hussein, and we've seen Amina, I think she's currently in Becky right now, which is on Maisha Magic, I think. I'm not so sure where, but yeah. She's also a very, very good actress. And then we have Calligraph Jones. Calligraph Jones was in this film, guys. And since zake zilikuwa funny, this nigga is funny, by the way. He can act. Let's give him that. He can act. He can not only sing, But Omolo can act. Then we have Shiguan Shiko. That's her name. Her name in the film, Mamushka. She plays the role of Mamushka. And Mamushka in this film is Kasisi's, let's say, girlfriend, mama. Yeah, they have a kid. And Mamushka in this film as well, like every character actually really stood out. All the Nini mbaya? Nini mbaya, guys. All the characters were well developed and very different from each other, and they complemented each other very, very well. We also have the first or the opening scene. I definitely recognize Samiro. Samiro uliact poa. Uliact poa. So yeah, and there are also some other household names, faces that we've seen before in other films. So it's well packed with good characters, good actors. Let's now do the synopsis. This film is a 3-part series. We have part 1, The Apprentice, part 2, Graduation, part 3, Point of No Return. I know, like even from how the parts have been named, you just want to understand, like creativity. It's not like you can see creativity in a film even from how they've named the film. Click Click Bang, The Apprentice, Graduation, Point of No Return. Creativity mbaya, guys. Hii film ni poa. So synopsis. We have Kevo, who's a very talented footballer, and he has big dreams of becoming a big footballer. He anajua mimi neza make it through football, and he doesn't even just believe this out of nowhere. There's a chance that has been promised to him that there's going to be a sport somewhere, you're going to go and play abroad, nini, and he goes to his coach, and we see this scene where he's happy, he's going Minenda Maju, and the sister Mokeira has a kidney problem, and she goes through dialysis. But of course, eventually, we all know that kidney problems, you always end up needing a kidney transplant. So Mokeira needs that eventually, and it's not cheap, guys. It's not cheap. Yeah, it's not cheap. So Kevo knows that if I get into this football thing and actually make enough money, I cannot just live my dreams and use my talent. I will also be able to feed my family and take care of my sister. So it was a big deal for him. But sadly, because of corruption, he does not get the sport. So it's given to some politician's nephew who, you politician, you're rich, and already that part tells you this is definitely a Kenyan film, because corruption is like the order of the day in this country. Like mnajua ni ukweli, corruption is like the order of this country. So it was no surprise. It's not something that you'd hear and you're like, that's not very Kenyan. It's very Kenyan, and so he's sad. He's like, okay, now I don't know what to do. And he goes and talks to Kasisi. Now Kasisi is like the neighborhood burglar. Kila mtu anajua yeye ni mwizi. Mgondi. Me by this G, if you guys still say that word. I don't know if you guys still say that word. But kila mtu anajua Kasisi is a thief. This is what he does. But it's also funny how Kasisi is portrayed like we know he's a thief, but you like this thief, uko tu like, mwizi ni mpoa. That is what film can do. It can make you like someone. You will like who the director wants you to like, and that tells you that is very good directing. Hatujafika hapo. Hatujafika kwa directing, tuko kwa synopsis bado. So akaenda and he talks to Kasisi like, this has not worked out. I need to feed my sister. My sister and I need to eat, and my sister needs money to go to hospital. Please give me a job. Twende tuibe na wewe. And Kasisi is like, what is this boy talking about? Kwa hii ghetto yote, you have the most promising future. What do you mean you want to come and steal with me? And he refuses, and he turns him down, and Kevo says fine, and he decides to do legal jobs. And he does a number. Those scenes are actually very funny. Those scenes are very funny. Like hapo tu niliona niko like, yeah, Mkuru wrote this. Mkuru wrote this. Very funny. I will not spoil that for you, but they were very funny. And it doesn't work out for him. The legal jobs, they don't work out for him. It's very hard. And actually, among those jobs that he was trying, the one that stood out for me the most was I don't know if you guys can hear a kid crying. There's this lady around me where I live, and she beats her baby every day. Every day, mtoto huwa analia. And it's very annoying. Ametoka tu kidogo unasikia "Wah!" Anyway, back to click click bang. Oh mama, nitamreport kama hataki mtoto aseme. So anyway, back to the film. So what stood out for me is Kevo gets a job at a construction site. And when he gets there, he faces so much hostility from the colleagues, or rather the other workers. And I'm like, Ninini? And it brought out how territorial construction workers are. And I got myself asking, construction jobs hukuwa hivi? Like watu wa mjengo hawatakangi watu wengine walete. And what I thought, in my opinion, I thought, ama ni juu, like kukiletwa wasee wengi tutamaliza job haraka, so tutalipwa pesa kidogo juu tumewaka few days. I don't know. If you know, tell me. I don't know. That's what I thought. So at that point, he alinyang'anywa manguo. He was stripped naked and he wore some sacks from bags of cement. And Kasisi met him and was like, "Hey, bro, what did they do to you now? Every time you go to this job, you come back with a problem. Sasa umefanyiwa nini tena?" And Kasisi takes him. They all go to hospital, and Mokera is badly sick. She had missed a couple of dialysis sessions, and the doctor says that if you keep doing this is going to be bad. And Kevo realizes, like, I have to do something. And this is the point where Kasisi says, okay fine. So he gives, I think he paid for the service and gave Kevo some money to go buy some clothes. And from that point he agreed, okay fine, to a job. And from there, they start working together, and we can see the growth. We can see how Kevo becomes a mwizi mkubwa. Yani, akaanza ndo anatoa ideas. Leo tufanye hivi wase. Leo tufanye hivi wase. Leo tufanye hivi. So eventually, he like there's this statement which I saw from a synopsis. I think it was from IMDb. I'm not so sure, but in the process of fighting the battle, Kevo loses the war. Yeah, spoiler, he dies. He's killed. Sorry if you haven't watched it. I told you, go and watch the film. Yeah, Kevo dies. And Kasisi offers, before he dies, Kasisi offers to give his kidney to Mokeira. And it's a whole turmoil of emotions from here to there. A lot of things happen in this film. Like, the themes are not new. I loved this film because you could tell it was told by a Kenyan for Kenyans. There was nothing that was so new to me. Now let's go to my thoughts about this film. We start with the acting, of course. Or rather, when I saw the trailer, this is what I thought. The trailer was enough to make me want to know what Kevo goes through in this film and whether he wins. Of course, I was hopeful that Kevo doesn't die. Nilikuwa na hope ataiba ikuwe kama money heist. Ataiba na ende wa enjoy pesa huko na sister yake. Na apate hiyo gig bado ya football. Nah, it doesn't go like that. And so when I watched the film, it was a whole... emotions were running high in some scenes. Especially the ending scene. Jackie Vike delivered. And the soundtracks, whoever edited the soundtracks were so good. Like, you could feel the pain because the death of Kevo was announced on TV. Kevo was killed by a rogue cop. So in this film, we all know how Kenyan cops are. No offense to Kenyan cops, but the police sector of this country is very corrupted. It's ruined. It's corrupted. And so apparently the OCS, lieutenant, something, I don't remember her. Another plane. That's fine. That cop, I don't remember what her title was, but she was in charge. Like, she was running the operation underground. She'd give firearms to thieves and they'd steal and should get a cut from it. So kidogo kidogo ameingia, kidogo kidogo ametoka. Nyi mnashanga, see, this person was caught juicy, and then they get out. And when tensions run high, of course, a cop has to sacrifice someone, so they sacrifice this annoying guy. Okay, if he was that annoying, because character mtu ilikuwa annoying. There was this guy who'd come and ask for a cut from everyone. He stole from a grandmother at the stage. He was very annoying. And if he annoyed me that much, it means he delivered his character well. So, yeah. Wow. Ushaipotelewa na thoughts. Anyway, like I was saying, so we see Kevo how after he died, aliuliwa na this mama. This mama told him that choose, you either, live for me or something. He gave him an ultimatum. I can't remember what the she gave him an ultimatum, and I can't remember what the ultimatum was. And Kevo said, I'd rather die. I'd rather die. Here is another annoying part in this story. Kadesa, hata sijongelea Kadesa. Kadesa was sort of Kevo's girlfriend. I don't know what it was. They had a thing, but it was not solid. I'm sure most of you relate. Situationships. Paul, I can't make a judge. Sorry. But yeah, we were not so sure what was going on between them, but they had something. So Kadesa goes to the police station, and in the last burglary, Kevo organizes, they sit down with Kasisi and they think, there's no point of stealing from people in the morning when they're going to work. People go to work to look for money. And so when they come back home, they have money in their pockets. So let's steal from them in the evening when they actually have something that we can take. So they organize with some other two people who are pickpockets, wanaiba masimu. So they organized na wakaona ile basi watachukua, but sadly Kadesa was in this bus. And previously in another scene, Olivia, now Ida Alicia, Olivia was Mukera's best friend. Kasisi and Kevo tried stealing a laptop from Olivia, and since they were doing it from behind, Kevo didn't realize, oh, this is Olivia. And after amemwona, Kasisi akarealize, he knows you, and the rules for all these thieves were, if somebody recognizes you, that's a threat. Eliminate the threat. And that thing disturbed Kevo. It was bad for him. He realized, no, I can't do this. So he had to Kasisi ali shoot Olivia, and that's how Olivia died. So in this bus, Kevo recognizes Kadesa, and he remembers that if Kasisi says that I know Kadesa, he's definitely going to kill her. So he pretends, Jupinduka madam, leta simu, and Kadesa understands the situation because they had been talking, and Kevo told him about his situation with his sister. So Kadesa alienda kusema apewe kijana wake. Please, when you find him, he's not doing this for the wrong reasons. Woman, like fear, mbona alienda kumsema? Mbona alienda kumsema, guys? Mbona alienda kumsema? But then again, I sort of understand her. But bado hakufanya poa. So that's how Kevo was caught and killed. And this whole film, like from beginning to the end, the pacing is so good. Every character is developed, like every character. From Kevo, we can see him loving football, going all the way to a point where he has to now decide between doing right and wrong, and he has to pick wrong because that's what is right for him, and it will serve his purpose. We can see Mokeira. Mokeira does laundry jobs anafua hapa na pale to make money. We can see Olivia, and Olivia had a crush on Kevo. She made some light passes, so not so heavy, light, but we can allow her to get away with it. She's a woman. The men should chase the women, I guess. Do not cancel me. So yeah, and Olivia's character is also developed, but I feel like Olivia could have done a bit more. I mean, we saw that they were best friends, but how Mamushka, the relationship between Mamushka and Jackie, there was no relationship, but we could feel how Mamushka actually really cared about Jackie. When she came over to Mokere's place akamwambia, mi nitakukalisha leo, hata sijui za nini, weka nitakuwekea tuone, you know. And it felt okay, this sounds more like a friend. So I feel like Olivia's character wasn't developed fully. It was just introduced and then it was cut short. Amina's character was also great, but props, I didn't like the phone that they gave her. Mbona amepewa simu na tuko 2022? Mpeni smartphone. Because I saw her the way she was looking for Kevo on Facebook. Niko tu like, come on. Hapa ni uongo bana. Hii ni uongo. Na the cinematography, the scenes were quite nice, except where Kevo na Kasisi were stealing in town. And we could clearly see this is a scene from a demonstration that happened. And the two didn't, it wasn't edited in well. Haiku blend in. So we could tell this was something that was added in it. And I know they wanted to, I think the idea was to make it look like they were there, like for us to be immersed in that scene, but it wasn't successful. It wasn't successful. For the costume ya Amina ilikuwa inanikasirisha because we could see Kevo is a young boy, and we are assuming if they were in the same class, they are almost the same age. Like difference ni maybe in months. Mbona walipatia Amina hizo nguo? Like I felt like they could have made her look younger. The clothes that they gave her made her look a bit more mature than Kevo. I don't know if that's what they were going for, but yeah, it didn't sit well with me. Then we have the lighting scene, especially the part where these two, Kasisi and Kevo, go to Calligraph's house to get the guns. The lighting was quite good. The lighting was good. Yeah, the lighting was really good. And soundtracks, the last scene, very emotional. Like Jackie Vike alikuwa analia, unasikia kulia pia ni kama brother yako amekufa. Jackie Vike aliact poor, and the soundtrack, it blended in very nicely and it brought out emotions very well. So I really did like that. Standout things for me in this film: corruption, clearly. How corrupt the police system is. How terrible justice is. I mean, eventually justice was found, but not necessarily. For Kevo, like walimnyang'anya chance yake. They ruined his life. Whoever took that football chance thing ruined the whole life of this guy. So that's a theme that heavily stands out for me. Then we have brotherhood. Now, if you watch this film, you will realize what Kasisi did for Kevo. And it really showed brotherhood. How if you're a member of my gang, we are going, like, I am going to ride for you from beginning to the end. And that was really nice. And I think that's how people in the ghetto are. That's what I think. I could be wrong, but that's what I think. Strength and weaknesses of this film. I've already mentioned the props that I didn't like. That cinematography scene where they had that scene, like tu ulikuwa tu unaona aki scene imetolewa mahali kwingine ikawekwa hapa, haingiani. But it was a really, like, overall it was a really good film. From the pacing, from beginning to the end, it's a story that flows. But there were scenes, by the way, now that I remembered, I read a review somewhere of someone else. There were scenes that weren't necessary. Forgive me, Mkuru, but there was a scene where Mkuru was in and he was running, and I'm like, we've already turned this into comedy. I was serious into the story. You just put my mind, umetoa mind yangu from the story and called, oh wait, that's Mkuru, wait, here like that, ha 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 ha. I don't think that scene was necessary. But tunajua film yake, but haikuwa necessary. Then pia the scene where Kevo OJ from Tahidi High showed his face, like he was part of a scene somewhere. And I think that scene with Kevo was also not necessary, unless it was to show us that Kevo is toughening up. But that was not his character. He was not really toughening up. He just had no choices. So he was not turning into a bad guy. Alikuwa tu anajua mi naiba tu ndo ni make pesa ya sister yangu. So I feel like that scene was very misleading. And love scene, love scene ya Mamushka na Kasisi. I don't know what to say about it. Oh, acha hata hiyo. The scene just before that love scene between Mamushka and one of her friends. I think I've seen that lady somewhere in THRK. Sijui kani, sikumbuki jina yake. Kani Shipra. I'm not so sure. I'm not so sure. But nilifeel pia that scene was not necessary. Why are we being shown this too? Because it didn't. A scene is necessary if it builds into the story. If it doesn't, we're like, why was this added? This person just had to have a role to play. So I felt like that scene did haikuwa na maana. Then the love scene, add like I'm 50-50 about it. Maybe it shows us the relationship between Isa and Mamushka, that these two actually loved each other. But then again, it's too sexy. Yeah, it was too spicy. Go watch the film. You'll get what I'm talking about. And I almost forgot to mention this. Makeup ya Mamushka. Mamushka, like if you saw Mamushka, you could tell huu ni demu wa ghetto mwenye anatry ku climb and to look, yani slay queen wa ghetto. Her makeup, you could tell every time because she always had some, it's not weird, but yeah, some sort of makeup which you could tell, hey mommy, what's going on? But ilikuwa ina fit in. So whoever did the makeup for Mamushka, and her wardrobe yake ilikuwa poa, wardrobe yake ilikuwa poa, wardrobe ya Isa, it was so good, ya Kasisi rather, in the film, it was so good. It brought out the gangster from the lens, like the contacts are so nice, like one eye different from the other, and a hanging dreadlock over here, and a beanie. It was good. It was good. It helped bring out the character of these people. And Mokera, yeah, Mokera was fine. I mean, demo like ghetto, hamna pesa, nini. Yeah, it was fine. But Mamushka and Kasisi, those were the two best dressed characters for me in the film. Kevo, just a normal boy. I'd expect him to be wearing like what are those shoes for playing football called? That was Nitwa Manati, because I have a brother who likes playing football. I don't know what they're called. Soccer shoes, let's call them that. I'm too fancy. Football shoes. Sport shoes. I don't know. So I expected his character to be wearing like that some of the time when he's like at home or going for when he was actually that scene where he was going to receive the news. That's what I expected. So sadly, hapo kidogo didn't help bring out that character much. But his clothes are just normal, you know. And yes, that's what I think about their costumes. So I would rate this. I think I would give this a 9, an 8.5, an 8.5, solid, an 8.5. Yeah. And why I recommend you should go and watch this. First of all, I don't know who's shouting huko nyuma. I hope I'm jumpscare. I would definitely recommend that you watch this film because it's very Kenyan. And when I say Kenyan, namaanisha si film when you watch. Have you seen this films? I think most American films where it's high school students, they have to have lockers, they are wearing short skirts. And if you made a Kenyan film with those things, my friend, we are not going to watch that film. Why are you lying to us? This is not a Kenyan story. Tell us you want to make a story for American people to be watched by Kenyans. Otherwise, stop lying to us. So, Click Click Bang is very Kenyan in every sense. You're going to relate with it in every sense. So it's a very good film to watch and to understand the crime, the underworld of crime in the ghetto, and how one thing uni nani. Anyway, sorry guys. You're going to understand the underworld of ghetto and how and how things work. So it's a wrap for today. That's a wrap for today's episode. Please don't forget to subscribe, switch on the notification bell. I'd actually also appreciate a 5-star rating from you if you like my podcast. Please leave comments and stay tuned for the next episode. See you guys next week. Bye.